Hi everyone, and welcome to Quantum Acacias. I was about to say welcome to Quantum Dimensions. I mean, that could work too. That can definitely work too, okay? Welcome to Quantum Acacias. My name is Dee Dee, and I am so glad that we found each other. Today, we are going to be talking about my adventures in the Astrals. Ooh, Oea and the Oars. Interesting. And it's interesting because oars, like O-A-R-S, but it also does sound like oars, O-R-E-S, is within boars. And we're going to be talking about that today. So that's really, really fun. So we are going to be talking about the Dakini activation. And this one is really, really interesting because it was very much unexpected. It's very much unexpected. So yeah, let's get into this dream time. So this was over a year ago, specifically August 12th, going into August 13th. So I always associate 8/13 to the Dakinis, but also 8/12 as well, which is also really interesting because right after I woke up, not right after, that's not exactly true. And one day I'll do like my awakening story because it's actually really wild. But I went through a extended period of shadow work, okay? And I say extended even though it was like about 2 years or so, because like around 2016 is when I started kind of coming out of like everyday shadow work. But it was extensive because like literally like majority of the days I was going through heavy, like 666. And I look at 666, even though like that's like the beast numbers, I look at it as mastering the beast energy, being the east direction, which is the life direction. Usually going out west is when you are going through the death cycles and transformation. The desert, which is actually currently where we live right now. And then east is like resurrection or reincarnation, coming back into the quote unquote life. At least that's my current understanding of it. But anyways, I associate that to mastery of the physical world, right? Because actually when you think about Beauty and the Beast, right? But you think about it like not in like this like romantic way, but just in general, like when a woman is on a beast's territory, it actually is like a disservice for them not to be able to come to a common ground, right? Because let's say like that the woman, doesn't want to interact with this beast. There's a lot that a beast can teach you about the landscape and nature that you wouldn't know as like a modern day human, where we are away from wild animals and things like that, where we are kept away from that. So there's a lot that the beast can teach you about roaming the lands and understanding other realities. And then in a similar fashion, if the beast eats the woman, there's a lot of things about the human interaction and how to navigate different planes of reality that the beast wouldn't know if it like attacks her for food. Does that make sense? Okay, but let's get into this Dakini thing, because I was going all around the world, but it was actually making me think of around this time before I had this dream, when I was actually studying. And one of the first things in 2016 as I came out of shadow work, which is why I was saying all this, when I came out of shadow work, one of the first like spiritual metaphysical things that I was introduced to was actually the Philadelphia experiment. And if you look up the Philadelphia experiment and listen to Al Bielek on a lot of things about time travel, monarch programs and things like that, and some of his experiences with time, then he talks about August 12th being a very, very significant day, but also just the month of August every 20 years, usually something really important and big happens. And so I wanted to mention that because a lot of my QHHT sessions that I've personally had that focused on me have come down to government projects, okay? And and so specifically one of them seemed to be very, very focused on Aryan tradition within the Hindu mythos. And of course, Dakini would be a term that you would find in that mythology. However, it also has Dravidian connections, which I associate to Lemuria. Okay. So anyways, in this Adventures in the Astrals, this is actually a dream I had in the middle of the day. And sometimes I'll do this when like my dreams, like throughout the night, like, if I'm restless or, the kids are restless and it just wasn't that great of a night to settle down. Sometimes I will try to go to sleep throughout the day, take a nap throughout the day with the intention of like, bring me the information that was trying to come through last night. So there was something connected to this, like the night of the 12th going into the 13th. I can't remember what it is right now, but then I went to sleep and I had this dream and I was like, oh, okay, cool. So what ended up happening was that I ended up going into a family home. Okay. And this is a family home that I don't usually see that often. So I remember in the dream when I saw it, I hadn't seen it since I was like a little kid. And so when I saw it, I was like, whoa, why am I here? So it was instantly, I wasn't like immersed in the environment and like I was thinking that this was life and I was just interacting. Immediately, I was like, I have not been here in a while. And so my instinct was to go from like the room that I stayed in as a child and walk to the bathroom. Now, this bathroom was also an old style home. I'm not sure exactly the decade, but it could have been like 60s style. Like, like those kind of Easter color, like the Easter color pinks and, like the kind of army kind of green pastel kind of situations. And they had like the yellow kind of situations. I forgot what those, I don't know if those are called retro homes or, I don't know. But anyways, this was like a green bathroom. And so I was in the bathroom and I was just still just kind of shocked, like, how did I get here? Like, why am I in the bathroom? But then I was like, okay, it must be a reason I'm here. So instead of trying to figure out why I'm here, let me figure out literally what am I doing here. And so the next thing I did was that I just decided to stare in the mirror. Ooh, it's 143. I love you too, universe. Every time I see 143, I say I love you too, universe. And that's I love you 143, and I got that from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I got it from Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Okay, anyways. So I'm staring in the mirror, and I was really focused on hearing this concept of like when you stare into a mirror, you want to make sure that it's you that you're seeing back, because if you see someone else in the mirror, that could mean that, like someone's infiltrating your essence or something like that. So I was really focused on seeing myself in the mirror. Now, the interesting thing is that there's a little bit of a distortion where it was hard for me to see myself, but then I had to really, really focus. And when I really, really focused on the mirror, and it was like focusing on it, like as far as like just being aware of my surroundings. Like, even though at that moment, I don't know why I'm in this room, why I'm in this bathroom, this is not something that's presently going on in my reality in some type of way. Like in this moment right here now, though, I am here. So it doesn't even matter, how I got here, anything. Like, this is here right now. And I am facing this mirror. And this mirror, in whatever capacity it exists, it is here right now, and I need to focus in on that. So I focused in on the mirror. When I did, I saw myself, but I saw this other aspect of me. And this aspect of me was as deep black as the space in time. It definitely, in my immediate thought, was Kali. And so my eyes were bright and white and had a luminescence coming from them, but my skin was like literally like the fabric of space depth of black. And so I was like, whoa. But it was me, because I was moving with myself and things like that. And then when I started to see, which was really wild, and again, I had to focus in, because I was like, regardless of how my human experience is, it doesn't matter like why this is happening or how it's happening or what this means, but it matters that it is happening and I am seeing this. So what I started to see was, right above that was another version of me that was more my skin tone now. And this version of me was not moving necessarily in sync with me, because she was a future version of me, okay? She was a little bit slimmer, it seemed like there was a lot of things that we associate to femininity here that she had like regained, I guess. And then also there was this essence of being the mother but still the maiden, and that though you've gone through the transition of the mother, you can be the maiden again. And so that version of me was dancing. And when I saw that version of me dancing, I immediately said, this is my Dakini aspect. And as that aspect of me was dancing, and she was a little bit higher than me as well, because I was face-to-face level with the black aspect of me. Ooh, 147, I associate that to gateways. And so when I looked back at the version of me that was the black ebony version of me, she now had gone from kind of a stale face, kind of like a stale face. It was giving a little bit stale. It was definitely giving stale. But if you look into the Dakinis, it was definitely giving wrathful. Okay, now it wasn't wrathful at me. It was more of like, I'm going to hold my energy and I'm going to stay level-headed so that this does not turn into a rage. And it's so interesting because like now it's starting to make me feel really nauseous. And so as I was staring back at that version that was eye level with me, she had began to lighten up and dance as well. And so I was like, okay, they're semi-wrathful. And so that was really fun to see. And then above that, I saw another version of me with a guide. And I understood that to be like the sisterhood of Dakinis, that's what I would say. So coming back into a certain level of unison with the energy of Dakini, okay? And so, of course, as soon as I woke up, I'm like, what exactly is a Dakini? Because I feel like I had heard the term in passing before. But I couldn't really remember where I had heard it before, what it was connected to. So anyways, then of course I ended up seeing that it is a emanation of Shakti energy. And so they can come in many forms. Sometimes they come in a form where you can communicate with them. Sometimes they can be a part of the fabric of reality itself. But usually they show up to give some type of deep, insightful information about reality and the inner workings of reality, some type of form of feminine wisdom and enlightenment. And I feel like to a certain extent also to kind of help you to step outside of the current situation, like as far as like, you know, in whatever suit you're in, a human suit, animal suit, whatever it is, and like to remember your essence as the consciousness that's flowing through it. And then from that perspective, you know, because sometimes we have a different way of dealing with things when, you know, you're like, okay, I'm only going to be living at this house for a year. Then you know, act and interact in a certain way. This is my dream home. This is a home that I want to stay for many years. There's different things that you focus on with that versus like, I'm going to be in this body for 100 years. Then there are things that you do and interact with and focus on, and what's priority might change. And then like after I'm out of this body, I will be in the in-between realms of the astrals, focusing on my next incarnation. That also is a different type of interaction and perspective and viewpoint to have. And so I feel like they come in with that viewpoint of like, you know, remember that you are the consciousness flowing through this reality, and it is interactive, and what you're doing here is very essential and important. However, in order for you to get over this hurdle of discontent or quiet rage or anger about something, you're going to have to take a different perspective from a different lens of reality. And there's also this definitely dimensional kind of concepts I've been studying into hyperspace. And I read in Kaku, I feel like that's how you pronounce his name, in his book, where he talks about that he believes that the dimensions are actually in space. And so the higher that you travel up into space is actually traveling into different dimensions. And I've also had a dream very similar to that, which I'll probably talk about in Adventures in the Astrals relatively soon. And it's also connected into the Acacia tree. Also the Adventures in the Astrals, where I talk about the white cosmos in the 12th dimension. So that's what I wanted to talk about, and this Mount Meru concept. So I have, well, do I want to talk about that? Because I kind of want to talk about the Dakini connection before. I'll probably wait on that. Yeah, before I have seen myself on Mount Meru, and I know that there is an aspect of myself that is definitely on the 5th level of heaven, which is associated to the Yana or Jhana Loka. And this Jhana, which is very interesting, is also connected into Janus, the feminine aspect of Janus, okay? Which is also where we probably get the name Diana from, or Dana, or Danu. And this is the wisdom dimension, okay? So it is the 5th dimension. Of course, the highest dimension is the 7th dimension. And so I was also talking about the mango that fell from heaven, and wisdom is called jhana. Also in this tradition, the mango is called jhana palam, which is the fruit of wisdom. And there's also the jhana Dakini, the wisdom Dakini, which I also feel like in some type of way is also associated to the Jagannath. Let me actually look that up, and I'm going to read something about that, because Jagannath has been coming up a lot, okay? And I didn't actually know that it was a concept, Jagannath. Ooh, child. 38 years in India, from Jagannath to the Himalaya mountains. Oh, that's a book. Okay. Let me see if I put mythology, because there was something about the Dakinis in this, but I can't remember exactly what it was. Jagannath. Okay. Yeah, Jagannatha. A deity worshipped. Okay. Jagannatha is the Lord of the universe. Formerly English is the Juggernaut. Is a deity worshipped in regional Hindu traditions in India as part of a triad along with his Krishna's brother Balahadra and sister Sudadra. Jagannath within Odia Hinduism is the supreme god Purushottama and the Para Brahma. Ooh, these are quite some names, okay? Hopefully I'm not butchering them. Oh yeah, and I haven't even talked about the Dakinis and the boar yet. But I'll probably have to do some more on that a little bit later. But there was something, with Odisha, which is origin, which is the land of the Dakinis. But there's something that I read specifically because they were coming up together. Okay, let me see if I can find it right quick. Okay, I don't want to take up too much time. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, I know, in Odisha. Okay. I don't want to take up too much time with that. But what I'll do is, like, at some point I will come back and I'll do actually like the boar connection. But on the 19th I ended up having a dream about KrodhaKali. And when I saw KrodhaKali, there's also this connection to the boar, which would come up also in my dream connected to Amun and the boar's tusk, which also, connects into the Medusa concept. So, of course, Medusa gives birth to Pegasus and also to Chrysaor, like Chrysler, who is the winged boar. So she gives birth to the winged boar and the winged horse, both of these. But yeah, I don't want to like rush through that. So at some point I will do another video about the boar, the black diamond sow, which the sow is the pig head, and sow is also connected to sowing and weaving fate. And then also, of course, boars and pigs are considered to be symbols of ignorance. And so the goddess with the boar's head, or the deities with the boar's heads, are considered to be universal frequencies that know how to interact with reality, even seemingly being ignorant. Okay. So that'll be like another video, because I don't want to go over the time and stuff like that. But as always, if you have any questions or anything to add to it, if you have seen yourself as a skywalker, if you have seen yourself as a Troma, I would love to hear about it and some of your experiences and connections. And make sure to subscribe, like the video, share with a friend, if you're interested in getting any personal services, or if you want to donate to the channel. You can check the description box below. It's also just a great channel just to come and listen. I don't want to make it seem like every video is about a transaction or anything. That's not why I'm saying it, but just, if you're thinking it'd be really great to get a reading, I would be a great person to get a reading from. But this is also just about community and sharing. So I just want to make that clear. Definitely want to make that clear. But yes, I will be back with another video relatively soon. Okay, sending you lots of hugs, lots of love and insight. Until next time, bye.